In this episode, we're going to get familiar with some of the editorial tools in SUBD. The first thing that we wanted to talk about is Inset. To start the work, I started drawing a box, maybe two faces in every directions, X2, Y2, and Z2, like this. Then I wanted to have a smaller face in each face. As you know, I can activate the sub-object. I can choose this face, and with the gumball extrude, I can draw my job like this. Like this. I press the tab and I can see my job in this state. Now imagine instead of extruding this face, I extrude a smaller copy of it. In doing so, I can choose Inset, then choose my face and consider the offset as 5/10. And now as you can see, there is another face, a parallel face with the previous one, exactly with the number that I gave to it. Now I can extrude it in. This one, 5/10. This time I extrude it out. I press the tab and now I have a form like this. I hold Ctrl Z. Now I choose two faces are chosen, and then I turn on Inset. Now it's asking me if I consider the two faces as one and create a new face inside them, like this, or I show you here, I choose the two faces and then I turn on Inset. But this time from the command line I put the mode on single. I mean, it's not the group anymore, I put it on single mode. And now based on the distances that I gave it, it applied to the faces. And now I extrude these two. See the difference? It's completely obvious. Ctrl Z, tab, and the next command. Now we know Inset command. The next command that we're gonna talk about is subdivide sub-D. I can choose every one of the faces, and with this tool I can divide it into 4 parts. You can see it here easily. And I can keep doing this. And we also know that I can choose a face and I can delete it. Like this form could be created for me. Whenever I wanted to choose the edges, the attached ones, I double click on it and I choose it like this. Look. And I drag it. And this part should come here a bit. I hold Ctrl Z to get back to the main state. Let's see the next command. The next command is slide. With the help of this tool, I can move my edge or vertex. Now I choose this edge and then I move it. As you can see, the edges that are attached to it are moving as well, which is actually rational. And then I can choose this part and drag it up, and then I could extrude it. So in this way I can move my edges so easily. I hold the Ctrl Z and now I choose slide again. Again I move a vertex. And as you can see again, we can move our vertices so easily. Control Z, and now I go to the subject plane and I try to draw two planes, actually with 2 times 4. I draw it, or maybe 3 times 4 is a better option. In this part, my sub-object is activated. Now I hold Control Shift. Now I hold Alt, so a copy would be made. Okay. The next command that I wanted to talk about is bridge. In this command, I can attach some of the edges or some faces. The important point here is that the number of the faces or edges on 2 sides should be the same, and their time have to be the same. For example, I say that this face and this face should meet finally. Let's see how it works. I choose and I activate bridge and I press the enter. Look. And now I can actually increase the number of the segments of this bridge with changing this number. And here I can change the straightness. See what's happening? Okay. See? And then I press tab to see what is the output. Okay, now this time I choose these two and these two. They should meet. Okay, and now I change the segment number 1 or 2, and now I change it a bit. About the actually crease option here, we're gonna talk later. Okay, now imagine that I wanted to bridge this 1 to these actually 2. To do this job, attaching these 1 to these 2, bridge is not useful. In doing so, I have to change this face, upper face, into 2 faces. That I need to divide this face into 2 parts. So I make a copy now. The first thing here comes to our mind is that we use sub D. We actually divide it into 4 parts, and then I delete this line and then this line. These 2's and these 2, and then I bridge it. That was one of the actually method that we could do this job, using subdivide and then deleting the edges and then making a bridge. You saw we can delete them. Now this time I use these 2. See? Or even these 2. A form like this. Okay. To do this job, I can use another method, and I can use a tool which is called Insert Sub the edge that we have here. And with using this tool, see, I can add another edge. And it can actually add another edge in parallel with the previous edges that we had before. And then we could use bridge here easily. Okay, so now I press Ctrl and Z. Okay, let me give you another example. I delete this and this, and then with bridge tool I can bridge between these two edges. So I can bridge the edges as well as I could do it with faces. Well, okay. I delete that. Now I wanted to draw a triangle with the center of 0, and then I draw a line here, and with the help of the array polar command, and then I array them within 360 degrees. To explain you the bridge tool, I'm going to introduce you a new tool. Similar to the pipe command that we have in Rhino itself. For example, I have a simple line here, and then with the pipe command I made a pipe out of it. Similar to this tool, we have multi-pipe in sub-D. This tool cover some of the lines, for example, with a specific radius, and then make me a sub-D pipe. A pipe that asks me if its cap ended or not. And I say it gotta be ended, and yes, we have something like this. Okay, now I'm gonna delete this. I choose the 3, and with the multi-pipe tool with, for example, radius 1, and the cap ends gotta be on, then such forms is created. Now I want to attach these 3 and make something like Y. To do this, I'd go and I choose this edge and then this edge, and then I bridge them. And then I can change the straightness, and okay, here 3 or 4. Okay, now again I say this 2 and this, and I bridge them as well. These 2 and again these 2. Maybe these 2 again, and these 2s. And you can also do this to the lower part. Now I try to do it fast with less attention. Okay, now let me introduce you some tools which is called stitch. You know, in some cases, let me activate it. With a stitch, you can actually stitch 2 separate faces together. It's a really useful and practical method. Okay, like this, they join together, and like this. See, and then finally I can push here a bit. Okay, so a bit lower maybe. So as you can see, we simply could create such form. Okay, now let me draw my 2 faces again, and copy, and then make it a bit, this way. So now let's get back to the tools that we already know. We talked about bridge that can make the face meet or some of the edges meet. And now let me show you an example. I want this part to attach to this part. Look, and I can easily give them the segments that I want. And as you know, with this handle, I can change the straightness. See, and I can also change the number of the segments that fit my job. And we also learned something else. We want these two edges to actually meet. We did that easily with a stitch. And then we can say that where should it locate from 0 to 1. See, I can do whatever I want. So you see these two. I go to render mode. Look. Okay, with insert point tool, I can make a point, something like this and like that. And based on the points that I actually gave, it gives me some edges. To show you better, I draw a face in flat mode, and then I use this tool here, here, and here. Okay. See, for example, this face, it comes out, and this face rotates a bit, and like this, and this part gotta come out. Look, now we know the insert point tool as well. Okay, the next tool that we're gonna talk about is actually Bevel. It's Bevel tool. This tool can create us 2 or several edge loops, and we can now see it, several edge loops. Actually, to explain you this tool, first I gotta explain you the crease tool, and then I'll be back to it. And let's see, 6, 6. I draw something like this. I make a copy. Okay, so in this part, the upper part, I don't want this part to be smooth, and I can use add crease tool, and then I have a cut here, and you also can have it here. So we know that if we use add crease tool, such form would be possible. Okay, let me show you something else. I draw this plane, I choose all these faces, and I drag it up. And then I go to the add crease, and I make a crease in this part. I put the plane like this, and I make this part flat. Okay, that's enough. You saw how add crease worked. I delete this. Now if I wanted to actually get back everything, I need to use remove crease, see, this part returned. Okay, or I double click and I choose them all, so the crease is omitted. Now in this form I use bevel and I choose this edge, and see with the segments that I want, I make the one into different segments. For example, I make it into 4. Okay, it made it smooth here. And so I can activate remove crease, and I delete this part and that part. I want this part a bit smoother. Bevel. Look, actually, maybe it's better to say that it makes one edge into different edges. Okay, now here I didn't double click here and I didn't take it edge loop. See here we have a n-gon. One, two, three, four, 6. So there's a hexagon here. And maybe we don't like it. In order to edit this part, I also can delete this and create forms. I use the 3D face and actually fill this part, or I can use append face. I put the polygon type on quad, and from here and again from here. Okay, I press the tab. See, this part is made correctly. And finally I can use remove crease and okay, not a big deal. I hold Ctrl Z. Another method that I can create lines here is using insert point, you know, from here to this, from here to this. See, 3 sides and 4 sides. Let's look at the other side, from here to this. I actually delete this so it could be 4-sided. I press the tab and I see my work. So now we've learned another command here. Okay, now for example we have an open part and then I want to close it. I have a command that acts like 3D face, but it attaches the new part to the sub-D that I have. The name of this command is append face, and it can give me the exactly the options that 3D face had before. So let's delete this and get to the next tools. Now here we know about multi-pipe, remove and add crease, bevel, insert side edge, insert point, append face, inset, stitch, bridge, and actually subdivide it. The next tool that we wanted to talk about is merge to coplanar face, or we could say all face. Look here, I have several faces on a flat plane. Obviously, this tool merges two faces together. Or, yes, this way. Or these two, or these two, for example. Actually, we should note that I cannot merge these two, you know, because they're not on the same working plane. So that's enough from this tool. One of the most useful tools that we have, and it was called symmetric in previous software like Clio or TSP Line. It is a reflect tool which is in fact creates the symmetry axis for us. Let me tell you how this works. I draw a plane here, and based on this axis I want to reflect whatever I do would happen to the other side. I activate the reflect. I choose my shape. I consider a reflection plane. Now one side is gray, and I make the changes on the side which is not gray. And whatever I do in the right side, it would be done on the left side. I take, for example, this, I rotate it, I extrude it. And yes, I keep doing it. Okay, and I keep doing my job this way. And finally, after I'm done with my model making, I right click on this and then remove symmetry. And it would result in some simple and correct shape. I should note that when I use the reflect tool, I gotta pay attention that this middle part shouldn't be moved. Look at this center should not move. Maybe this moving may cause problems. You'd better go on the page up and down, rather than going to the different directions. Moving to the directions may cause problems in actually some situations. Okay, now I remove symmetry, okay, and its color come back, and now I delete this. So in this session, we talked elaborately on different types of tools. Select subject object, we talked about it. And we also talk about select edge loop and select edge ring. We talk about them. And select face loop. We talk about this as well. So now let me draw something, maybe like this. Yeah. The next tool is select by brushing. You go on the face, you brush an area, and then it would be okay like this, and it comes up. So it's simple. You choose an area with brush, and the faces and edges would actually be chosen in this way. Now in this tool, I easily can change the brush width, or actually more options like polygons. And I think that you'd better use this tool with actually faces or with subject objects that the density of the faces and parts are so high. So with this brush, you can choose a vast area. Okay, now we'd better go for another tool. The next one is subject face edge vertex selection togger, and as you can see, it's a long name for a tool. Here, okay, I choose some of the edges here, and I can choose the vertices and the faces of these edges. Let me show you how it works. I choose the edges, then I togger. And I togger it, And maybe I choose some faces, and then I togger. I say I want their vertices, for example. So as you saw, this tool is also a useful tool that we may use it a lot. Okay, now let's talk about these three tools: convert object to NURBS. For example, here I'm going to have a actually sub D, and I wanted to I wanted to change actually this sub D to a NURB. I click on this tool, it would be chosen, and then here it gives me a surface. It changes sub D to surfaces as far as it can. But in some areas, it may change it to poly surfaces. I mean some joint surfaces. The next tool is for changing something to sub D. It gets a surface or a mesh and it changes to sub D for me. This is now my sub D. A sub D that comes out of this surface. And Tiger sub D display is the control key that we already talked about it. So now let's take a brief look at what we have covered in this session. And so then we could go for other types of tools for model making.